I wasn't panicking and now I'm starting to panic. Is it true that this really could just be all taken away from us? And why? Like, I don't understand why these people have such a hard on to take TikTok away. Like, what is going on? I've met incredible friends. I don't have this sense of community on the other app, and I was on that other app way before. And I don't put a lot of energy into it, but I have to have a presence there. But I do not like that other app.
Shit, I thought we was waiting till Monday, but Supreme Court said they got time today. Huh? I thought we was waiting till Monday, but Supreme Court said they got time today. Okay? Supreme Court said, listen, we heard them out. We did what they asked us to do. We ain't off that, okay? Nah. Tell ByteDance come up off that, okay? And they said it politely. They wasn't really letting nobody talk like I said, but it sounded like we had a little shot. I don't know. After these news articles coming out now, it might be over for Sunday. Bumper Monday. I don't know, y'all. Supreme Court siding with them right now. Now, listen. Maybe over the weekend, they have a couple of them, Michelob Ultras. You know what I'm saying? Some Martell, some Scotch. Maybe it'll look different on Monday, but as of now, it's looking like we're going to be having the funeral on the 19th, okay? 12 o'clock sharp. Amen?
Hey, man, I'm here to tell all the TikTokers that I'm riding with you, dog. I'm riding with you. I feel like we all on Amistad, the movie. Give us free. Give us free. I know y'all won't be free. But understand something. Y'all got the orange gorilla coming in, baby. I think the orange gorilla going to be able to save you. But ladies and gentlemen, let's really get into what's going on with this TikTok, where it started, where it's going, and why it is what it is. It's the one and only Dark Waters. Let's get rolling. Second, we about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go. We need to go back in time as it pertains to this banning of this TikTok bill and take a different look at it. Now, there's the economic impact of the banning of TikTok, which we know will be significant. But there may be something a little bit more nefarious going on, ladies and gentlemen. And when you consider the timing of this ban on January 19th, it's almost as if these people need to point out to you that they're doing something wicked and wrong and dangerous. Let's go back in time and see what Tucker had to say. Tucker was still on Fox News when he pointed this thing out. Now he has a Tucker Carlson show. They fired him, and he's kicking butt all over the place. But let's just go back. Go back to how I used to be for a moment. Back down memory lane. I'm going back down memory lane.
CNN, meanwhile, just put its tech reporter on the air to inform you that criticizing TikTok opens up Chinese Americans to, quote, hate and violence. If you criticize TikTok, you're killing Asian people. So, confronted with all this, you might support efforts in the Congress right now to ban TikTok altogether. And a lot of people do, not just on the right, but also on the left, which is kind of interesting. This is one of those weird moments where there's, or appears to be, some kind of bipartisan consensus. And that alone might want to make you pause for a second. If everyone in power is saying the same thing, is it really a good idea? Let's take a closer look. And again, this is not a defense of TikTok, merely an acknowledgement of what's actually happening in Washington right now. So one of the bills that would ban TikTok is being pushed, as we said, by senators in both parties. It's called the Restrict Act. Mark Warner of Virginia and John Thune of South Dakota, Democrat and Republican, introduced this legislation. Now, the bill is ostensibly about protecting American national security and ending, quote, foreign adversaries from interfering in our elections through apps like TikTok. Because, of course, election interference by Twitter and Facebook is no problem at all. But election interference from TikTok is totally unacceptable. Okay. But in reality, and you should know this if you're opposed to TikTok, as we are, this bill isn't really about banning TikTok. It's never about what they say it is. Instead, this bill would give enormous and terrifying new powers to the federal government to punish American citizens and regulate how they communicate with one another. For example, the bill would regulate, quote, certain transactions between persons in the United States and foreign adversaries. Now, what's a foreign adversary and who gets to decide?
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh, well, the Secretary of Commerce and the DNI, not the Congress, get to decide what foreign adversaries are. Well, that ought to trip a switch in your brain. And then the transactions with foreign adversaries would include, quote, any acquisition, importation, transfer, installation, dealing in, or use of any information and communications technology product or service, including ongoing activities such as mandated services, data transmission, software updates, repairs, or the provision of data hosting services. Well, that's pretty broad. Under this,
that's a bill that can get you arrested for just getting on the damn internet and connecting to China. So, for example, when I get on the internet and I want to go read Chinese news and I connect to China and I use a VPN and I connect to China and I translate, that would fall under that bill. That's wild.
Bill, if you engage in any of that with a so-called foreign adversary, as determined by, in this case, the Biden administration, that would allow the Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimondo, and the Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, to decide whether you're acting in the, quote, interest of a foreign adversary. Again, that's another term that the executive branch, the Secretary of Commerce, gets to define without the interference of Congress. So if the Biden administration decides that you're doing this, then the Secretary of Commerce can then enforce, quote, any mitigation measure to address any risk arising from any covered transaction with any person or with respect to any property subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. These covered transactions can involve, quote, current, past, or potential future transactions.
Wait. So what you're trying to tell me is if this bill that they passed was the Restrict Act, and we're going to go look at it, and what we're discussing is this bill, as per how it was established in 2023, then you can prosecute me for anything I've done in the past, anything I'm doing now, and preemptively, through predictive criming measures or predictive crime measures, say, oh, you're going to do something and we're going to arrest you? Is this what we're saying, ladies and gentlemen? You know, I'm not going to say that. Let's keep listening.
And the mitigation measures include, but are not limited to, throwing American citizens in prison for 20 years. Think about that for a minute.
Boy, 20 years in prison if the Secretary of Commerce does not agree with what is going on. This sounds like a landmine being dropped on the heads of the American people. We probably need to go take a close look at who Donald Trump appointed as the Secretary of Commerce, because it would make all the sense in the world right now why this bill is being pushed. And he even said, I would like to have an opportunity to negotiate with them. This sounds like the biggest trap and snare on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. And we're just trying to figure out why. We know it's going to have economic impact. We know it's going to hurt people's pockets. But why would you do it? Why would you risk doing that?
So you would be allowing the executive branch, the Biden administration, to regulate speech on the internet. And if you are somehow involved with a, quote, foreign adversary, or let's say you oppose the war against Russia, you go to prison for 20 years. So this isn't about banning TikTok. This is about introducing flat-out totalitarianism into our system. Now, just because TikTok is so unappealing, just because it's a creepy, low-IQ Chinese plot designed to make our kids
yeah, it really is creepy, low-IQ, immature.
trans, and it is. That does not mean that the people trying to ban TikTok have your interests in mind. Oh,
I mean, it actually makes TikTok the perfect target. It's Chinese owned. Everybody can get behind it, and you can stuff anything you want into the bill. Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, this is a dangerous booby trap. This is a booby trap about to go.
It definitely doesn't, or America's. Keep in mind, these are exactly the same people who drained our strategic petroleum reserve and in fact promote China at every turn. Now they're telling you they're against China. They're not. This is not an effort to push back against China. It's part of a strategy to make America much more like China, with the government in charge of what you read and see, and with terrifying punitive powers at their fingertips. Now, we've seen this before from the national security state again and again. Confronted with a foreign adversary, for example, after 9/11, the federal government uses the opportunity to expand their police powers over the American population. And they do it under false pretexts, and they do it quickly. by whipping people into a panic. Usually that's rooted in some truth. TikTok is bad, sure. Al-Qaeda was terrible, of course. But these measures are not aimed at stopping the foreign threat. They're aimed at controlling the American population, and they rush it through.
Okay. So this was 2013. This is what Tucker was standing up against. And so he laid it out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how much time I got. I'm trying to keep my videos short because when I did my analysis, people's attention spans don't last longer than 15 minutes, which is damn sad, which puts a lot of pressure on me to do it and dig into it real quick, but that's okay. These are called jazz fingers. Jazz fingers been getting ready to get to work. I'll be right back. Jazz fingers. Let's go searching. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Jazz fingers went to work. And my primary objective was to see if what Tucker Carlson was talking about then in 2023 is still applicable to what's going on now. And it does not look like it is applicable at all. Here is the bill, HR 7521. And when we go through and do a quick read and question about it, the key provisions of the bill, and I actually read the bill, then I ran it through. Prohibition of foreign controlled applications. Entities are prohibited from distributing, maintaining, or maintaining, or updating foreign adversary control applications within the U.S. land or maritime borders. Services enabling distribution via platforms like app stores or providing hosted services are explicitly included. Timeline for implementation. The prohibition applies 180 days after the enactment for identified applications or after determination by the president. Before the prohibition takes effect, users can request their data from these applications, which must be provided in a machine-readable format. Applications may be exempt if qualified divestiture occurs where the foreign control is removed. Certain necessary services related to compliance with the act are also exempt. Civil penalties includes fines of $5,000 per U.S.-based user affected for violations of prohibition and $500 per affected user for data portability violations. The Attorney General is responsible for investigating and enforcing violations. Severability. Definitions. Foreign adversary controlled applications associated with entities like ByteDance, LTD, TikTok, or others identified as controlled by foreign adversaries. Covered companies, entities operating platforms with more than 1 million users, excluding platforms primarily used for product reviews or similar products. What I wanted to know was, could any individual be charged under this law? Under Section F2, nothing in this act may be construed or authorize the Attorney General to pursue enforcement against an individual user a foreign adversary controlled application. Individuals are exempt. This law targets entities, companies, individuals who download, use, or interact with such applications will not face charges, fines, or imprisonment under law. Focus on enforcement. So it's a clean bill going through to ban TikTok, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like it's not the trap bill that Tucker Carlson was talking about before, which was the Restrict Act. I found the Restrict Act in the process, and he was right. He was not lying. But between then and now, we've gotten to this point where it is not the Restrict Act. And so let's just take a look at how people feel about what's going to happen with this TikTok ban.
Monday. Shit, I thought we was waiting till Monday, but Supreme Court said they got time today. Huh? I thought we was waiting till Monday, but Supreme Court said they got time today. Okay? Supreme Court said, listen, we heard them out. We did what they asked us to do. We ain't off that, okay? Nah. Tell ByteDance come up off that, okay? And they said it politely. They wasn't really letting nobody talk like I said, but it sounded like we had a little shot. I don't know. After these news articles coming out now, it might be over for Sunday. Bumper Monday. I don't know, y'all. Supreme Court siding with them right now. Now, listen, maybe over the weekend, they have a couple of them, Michelob Ultras. You know what I'm saying? Some Martell, some Scotch. Maybe it'll look different on Monday, but as of now, it's looking like we're gonna be having the funeral on the 19th. Okay, 12 o'clock sharp. Amen. Let's pray for a difference. But right now, y'all, Supreme Court seems as though they signed with the United States on this one, and ByteDance ain't budging either. I'm just a messenger.
The TikTok ban hearing just concluded. We might actually get that extension. Now, first, it was TikTok up. They did their defense, which is, this is against free speech. The Supreme Court attacked them. And then it was up to the people of TikTok and their representation. Then this lady came up for the government and she was just like, China. And they're all like, wait a minute. We have laws since the Cold War allowing this. And then there was the final rebuttal from TikTok, which, you know what? We could possibly get this extension. We're not going to know until possibly Monday, but I'll keep you updated on this. Now, does it look good for TikTok? No. But they're kind of hoping that the next administration, President Trump, will actually just get rid of all this, if he even can. The defense for the government had no idea if he could or not. And then as soon as they're like, oh, you don't know, she was all like, oh, well, we got major problems with that. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and follow, and I will keep you updated as soon as we get more information.
TikTok just argued in front of the Supreme Court, and it looks like we might be losing this app, guys. So during the TikTok Supreme Court hearing, the justices did not seem to be on TikTok's side whatsoever. They seem very skeptical of TikTok's claims, and it very much seems like they're going to uphold the law banning TikTok. And to make this worse, it doesn't seem like Trump will actually be able to do anything about this, because during the hearing, the opposition to TikTok made it clear that if Trump were to try to undermine this law by not enforcing it, and Google and Apple were to keep the app on their app stores, Google and Apple can be punished for keeping TikTok on their app store for up to 5 years. What this means is that even though Trump might not enforce the law, he will only be in office for 4 years. And since the ban is incredibly popular among politicians on both sides, the next president after Trump is very, very unlikely to protect Google and Apple from the penalties they would face from keeping TikTok on their app stores. Which means that if the law isn't struck down by the Supreme Court, which again at this point seems very unlikely, then Google and Apple are not going to take that risk, and they're going to comply with the law regardless of what Trump says. Now, we do not have a definite answer on this yet, but as of right now, I do not see us keeping TikTok.
I think they're not concerned about the fact that it is available. As I said, the remedy is just somebody else has to run.
And I know you're sitting here saying, well, dog, we went through all this, but I don't understand what it means. I don't understand what it means. What are you saying to me, DW? What are you saying to me? Here's what I'm saying to you. When you read the law, after the passing of this bill, looks like they got 100 up to 180 days where they can divest of their shares of this corporation. Meaning the current parent company can sell its shares to an American company, and TikTok can stay as TikTok. But what the Supreme Court is saying, boy, listen to me, you going to sell out of these shares or we going to cut you off from our citizens. Now, what you got to ask yourself is this question, ladies and gentlemen. If you bought that paper and you've been in TikTok, you've been making this money this whole long time, why you just don't sell it? You want to know why they won't sell it? Because they're owned by the Chinese Communist government. The damn Chi-Coms is who owns it. So, could the orange man bad get in there and tell them, hey, we're going to do a deal? Absolutely. The issue would be control of the company, infiltration of the company. If the Chinese communists were smart, they would just say, sure, we'll sell the company, but you're going to have to take over certain people from our organization, and you can't make changes to the algorithm, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. Really, that's the way around it. So I think there is hope for the TikTokers out there. But on the internet right now, everybody's saying TikTok funeral is scheduled for 12 noon on January 18th will be the TikTok funeral. It's trending. TikTok funeral. I think you should have the TikTok funeral at 12 noon the day of January 19th. You should be holding out for hope. I think the orange man bad might be able to get in there and do something for you guys. But that's what this whole TikTok ban is about, guys. We ran through it. I'm done. I'm on to the next subject. I know what's up. You know what's up. We know what's up.